All right, coaches, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This will be the last episode of this week. And so, if you've been following along this week, you know the theme has been spending time as a coach with your family, with your wife, involving them with your team. Well, today we're going to talk about how to, and it's hard during the season, to take that time where you take the break and stop thinking about football and invest time with your wife and making sure you're at least keeping that relationship going through a really busy season until you get to the off season. So we're going to try to talk about a couple of things we've done, some ideas that may work for you. Recognize we understand that we're by no means perfect and could do a lot. You see that eye roll because that was directed towards me. But we're basically, I've got to get better in this, and as I've aged, I have gotten better in this. I know as a coach, it's really easy to want to spend a lot of time with your staff. You grow really close with them. And so, a couple of the things that we've done in the past is we've had Christmas parties with our staff and with their wives. I try every year to have a staffs and wives kind of deal. And so, those are things that I think every coaching staff does just to try to say, hey, look, we do value the wives. But what we're going to talk about mostly during this episode is individual things that you do one on one. So Jamie's and my relationship, during football season, you just kind of you don't want it to fall off. You don't want it to become where she doesn't feel valued. And so as a coach, a couple of things I've tried to do is have at least 1 to 2. If you're like our season, you have kind of bye weeks built in. So you may have, and I'm talking about season. I'm talking about starting in July. You start in July, we try to go 4 days a week with our kids and have those Friday nights off. And I'll try to always schedule a weekend trip with us through the month of July or early August, whenever it kind of fits with the schedule for not us and the kids, but for me and her. And if we made a lot of money selling fireworks, we go some real fun place. And if it didn't go as well, we go just maybe in town in a hotel. But just something right before the season where we go on it doesn't even really matter what it is. It's just go be away, go just her and I, and spend a little time together. Try to do as well during the bye week, set those up. So if I know we have a bye week coming up, say week 3 or week 4, one of those nights, try to set up where we go watch a movie or go eat or go do something where it's just us. No kids, just us. And if we can make it an overnight deal, that's even better. And so those are two things I know that I've tried to do. And there's probably more as we can go, and I think Jamie's going to talk about a few as well. But as a coach, it is important that you are intentional with your time. I know if you're like me, you have every 5 minute segment on your practice schedule done to perfection or as close as you can have it. But a lot of times we don't do that with our time outside of football. And it's important that you try to do at least a little bit of that.
That's funny. Perfect segue.
Okay.
Because I was gonna say, as a coach, you game plan your how you're gonna go into the game Friday night, and so we've even talked about writing a book about before the season starts, game planning and set your plan how you are going to stay connected during the season. And like he said, he's always been really great. My birthday falls smack in the middle of football, and I never really expect much, but he always comes through. He always plans ahead. I haven't had a big one recently, and he did it upright. It was fun.
She turned 30 just a little bit ago. So.
Right. Um, but it's just planning ahead. Really, with anything in life, things go smoother if you plan ahead and just know that you're on the same page. As we've gotten older, we've both matured and understand things a little better. I know when I was younger, I didn't understand and made it harder probably for him. But also, he talked about the big weekends. Honestly, a wife just wants to feel appreciated. And so it's amazing how a small word or just a note or thank you for whatever can go so long. Just the fact that you've felt noticed and appreciated. I don't know if he does this or not, but sometimes throughout the day I sort of started picking up. I don't know if he put it in his phone as a reminder, but I would get at like 10 o'clock every day, how's your day going? And it was just neat that he would take the time to check in and just make sure that everything was fine. It doesn't always have to be an extravagant weekend away, which those are fun and amazing, but just take little time, maybe when you get home. I know you're busy and I know you're tired, but take 10 minutes to yourself, but then check in with her and just, or try to remember something specific she said and then ask her about it later. Um,
Yeah.
just try to notice the small stuff because that can go so much farther, and it can give you a boost to get through the rest of the day or the rest of the week or the rest of the season. Just along the way to keep the small things going, and then it won't take a big giant weekend to reconnect if you stay connected along the way.
And as a head coach, if you have the opportunity, some of y'all may not, and it always makes me laugh because it's always a guarantee that first year coach, second year coach, young coach is going to get that call on the field from his wife going, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What do you think I'm doing? We're having football." And so, a couple of things that I've tried to do as a coach is one, I always tell my assistants, always blame me. If you go home and we had to meet and your wife is not real happy because it took a long time, that's not your fault. I'm the head coach. Blame me because she blames me too because I'm the head coach and I make the schedule. And so just understand that if you're a young coach here, that's okay. Most head coaches understand that. If you are a head coach, some things you can do to help at least give your coaches the opportunity to be with their spouses is try to make sure you're very diligent with your meetings. And that's, to me, we try to meet once a week after football, like during the practice week on Tuesday, and I try to keep that from 10 to 20 minutes. So if those coaches want to get out of there and go home, they can do that. They want to go watch their kid play whatever sport, they can do that. Now, a lot of times they choose to hang around the field house and talk about things, and that's okay. That's okay too. That's part of what you want is camaraderie, but you don't want them to feel like they're obligated to stick around the field house during a non-meeting. On the weekends, I've tried to give my coaches, they're not off on Saturday, but they can work from home. So they have at least one day there where whenever you want to get this done, you've got to get it done, but you can do it from home. And then even on Sundays, we normally come up in the afternoon and go to about 9 in the evening, try to build in some time there where if they want to have time to go have dinner or go do something with their spouse, they can do that in the middle of that. And I've heard of other coaches that, hey, we're going to come up on Saturday, but they do it at 6 a.m. and they're done by 9 a.m., which that stinks for the coach, but the reason behind it was probably their kids are still sleeping. And when by the time they get home at 9, now you have your day with your kids. And so there's a couple things you can do is just make sure your meetings are very planned on what you're going to do, and then let coaches know that, hey, when we're done, guys, if you want to stick around, that's fine. But if not, go be with your wife, go be with your kids, go do what you want to do. And so just trying to be diligent if you have that opportunity to become a head coach, to recognize that, you may be seriously invested in your program and you want your assistants as invested, but they're not going to be as invested as you are naturally. And so allow them to spend time with their wives and with their kids. I think that's going to come back to you tenfold with guys wanting to remain on your staff, being fresh as the season goes on. And I never want a coach to have the kind of the guilt of knowing that maybe I drove a wedge in some kind of relationship there between a coach and his spouse. So trying to be diligent with the time is important. If you don't have the opportunity, blame the head coach because it's his fault. So that's kind of our thoughts on that. And like Jamie said, it could be something small, it could be something big, but it needs to be planned. It needs to be planned out that you are going to spend time with your significant other during the season. Because whether you win the championship and get a big ring, or you go over, that relationship is only that's going to last and is going to matter in the long run. So appreciate you guys' time this week, and I may get Jamie on later on if we can find something else for her topic-wise. The next couple weeks, I'll be getting into more traditional scheme stuff on this YouTube channel, so you'll get that. Hopefully, though, if you give a chance, go back and watch these episodes the last few weeks on being a head coach, on coaching and family. I think that stuff is more important. But as we move forward, again, you guys feel free to reach out to myself at FB Coach Simpson. I don't think I have any ladies that watch this channel, but if we do, you can reach out to Jamie at jamiesimpson@gmail. She can probably give you all the behind-the-scenes stuff that you can maybe do to help your husband. Appreciate you guys' time, and I'll see you next week.